Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode. Today we'll be talking about inclusive leadership, which is at its heart an evolution of servant leadership. In 2015, authors Liz Salib and Janine Prime established a model of inclusive leadership abbreviated as EACH, which stood for empowerment, accountability, courage, and humility. These four concepts should seem familiar as they draw on the concepts underlying servant leadership. If you want to read about this model, as always, the reference is listed with this video. But instead, I'll be focusing on the inclusive leadership model that evolved from that original version. One that I think draws together the best leadership concepts out there and summarizes them in an easy to understand way. This modern model of inclusive leadership classifies behaviors as either leading inward or leading outward. Leading inward includes things that are true of the self, such as values or attitudes. It requires a hard look at who you are and your innate ability to act courageously, learn, and self-reflect. Leading outward focuses on external behaviors, the things you do for others. What you do to ensure team members are treated fairly, empowered, and able to flourish. The idea that these two components are both equally necessary should sound familiar since we talked about it as part of servant leadership. To be an inclusive leader, you must do the right things, and to truly consistently do those things, you must hold certain values. The nice thing about this model is that many positive behaviors can be classified under leading inward or leading outward. The model doesn't confine itself to only a narrow set of behaviors. That said, there are 6 behaviors that we identified as notably important and so called out in the research. Under leading inward, we have curiosity, courage, and humility. Curiosity involves proactively seeking to understand different points of view. Courage is defined as acting in accordance with your principles, even when it involves personal risk-taking or is uncomfortable. And humility is taking ownership for mistakes and learning from missteps. Under leading outward, we named ownership, accountability, and allyship. Ownership centers on guiding team members to solve their own problems and make their own decisions. Accountability is defined as holding team members responsible for their behavior, development, and work processes. And allyship is about actively supporting people from underrepresented groups to ensure equity and fairness in all things. Inclusive leadership predicts experiences of inclusion in the workplace across countries, continents, and multinational companies. Employees with inclusive leaders feel valued for their unique perspectives and talents, are trusted to make meaningful contributions and be involved in decision-making, are able to be authentic and express aspects of themselves that may differ from their colleagues, and feel psychologically safe to take risks and believe they won't be punished for risk-taking. All of these positive experiences of inclusion ultimately predict increased team problem-solving, work engagement, intent to stay at one's company, and employee innovation. So inclusive leadership is powerful for many reasons and produces the outcomes it does in part because of how it brings together attitudinal and behavioral changes leaders can make to improve. Next week, we'll discuss another leadership model that similarly addresses both attitudes and behaviors, but does so in a more integrated way. Until then,